What is positive reinforcement dog training? Well, my quick definition right now is catch your dog doing something good. Catch your dog doing something good. This is positive reinforcement training. Is it the best way to train your dog? That's a great question. And the answer is that depends. Depends on your situation, your context, what your dog's doing, the environment you're living in. But for me, it turned out to be the best way. I've got very good results doing positive reinforcement training. What are some of the other ways to train your dog? Well, not sure what the exact names are, but there's more coercive ways to train your dog. You can punish your dog when your dog's doing something bad. You can try to be dominant and assertive. If you look at the work of Cesar Millan, you'll be able to see approaches other than positive reinforcement. But I think for most people, positive reinforcement works. So what is it? The act of catching your dog doing something good. The big mistake that people make generally is they try to stop dog behavior. They try to punish behavior they don't want to see. So typically, if your puppy poops in the house, you're going to punish the puppy for doing that. The reason this doesn't work is that dogs, their concept of punishment at best is a bit sketchy. They don't really understand what they're being punished for, and to them it can just feel kind of cruel, and it can just knock the dog's confidence. It can mean that the dog doesn't trust you. It can do all kinds of things that means that you don't have a good relationship with your dog. However, with professionals in certain situations, this kind of training can work quite well. So rather than trying to punish the bad, we're going to reward the good. So when the dog poops outside, you've got to massively reward your dog. Give them the best reward they've ever seen. You've got to be jumping around. The dog's got to think the way to unlock the most fun behavior from my owner is to do a poop in the garden. That's an example of positive reinforcement. What do you need for positive reinforcement? You need lots of treats, and a great approach that I applied with some success that Stoney Dennis talks about on his brilliant YouTube channel is take your dog's kibble for the day. Kibble, the little biscuits they have. I recommend using kibble rather than wet food. Take the kibble, divide it half and half, and half the kibble you're going to have with you all the time. And this is going to underpin your positive reinforcement training. You might be able to see Luna in the background. She's just going about in the bushes there. So take the kibble, then whenever your dog's not doing something bad, you're going to give your dog a kibble. And this works really well with food motivated breeds such as Labradors. Got a flat coated retriever here. So you're going to take your kibble, reward the dog. So the dog isn't barking. Give the dog a kibble. Somebody's walked past. Your dog hasn't jumped on them. Give them a kibble. There's a dog past. A dog's coming. Your dog has played nicely with it. Give them a kibble. So these could all be kind of everyday occurrences, which, if you weren't being deliberate about positive reinforcement, you might miss these opportunities to reinforce that behavior, reward and reinforce that behavior. So this is how positive reinforcement works. It doesn't work for everybody, and the reason it doesn't work for most people is they're not organized enough to do it. There's some very simple things you can do. You've got to make sure you've got kibble available to you. You've got to make sure you've got rewards available to you. It doesn't have to be kibble all the time. You can have like a hierarchy of rewards. So sometimes it's kibble, sometimes it's something else. But you've got to get organized. If you can get organized to get ahead of the game, positive reinforcement, in my view, is the best way to train your animal. Here's Luna, she's just come back to see us, and it's going to give you the best positive relationship with your animal. Your dog's going to think, I love hanging out with this person because I can always get kibble, and that's the way that you can positively shape your dog's behavior. So that's my take on positive reinforcement. Let me know in the comments what you think.